Hi, my name is Sarah Faye and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about the book Three Women. So this book obviously is about three women. It is a piece of non-fiction work and it basically outlines how three women explore their sexual identities and their deepest desires. It follows Maggie, who falls in love with her English teacher, Lena, who kind of reconnects with an old high school sweetheart, but she's also like married and sort of separated at the same time, and then Sloane, who is in not necessarily an open relationship, but she's definitely in like a swingers type of relationship with her husband. And I think it's so fascinating. It was such a good read. I've seen a lot of, people recommending this book. It's definitely like feminist forward. And yeah, it's just a really great book. So I wanted to give you guys my thoughts and let you guys know my personal review. I currently run an online book club right now for women empowerment. We read books by female authors and highlight women's stories. So this was the perfect book for us. It was recommended by a lot of people in our group, and I was excited to read it and test it out. Desire as We've Never Seen It Before, a riveting true story about the sex lives of three real American women based on nearly a decade of reporting. An instant feminist classic, utterly engrossing, game-changing. Oprah. No, but seriously, that's what Oprah said, and who am I to disagree with Oprah? I think the most interesting thing to me is that it took over a decade of reporting to get these stories. When you're reading it, it really reads like a novel, so it's cool to kind of get into it, and even though these are real stories, it's very interesting. The way that Lisa writes is amazing and fascinating to me. I'm kind of obviously a book nerd. I went to school for journalism. I love writing, I love reading. So for me, I think I didn't expect it because it's supposed to be more of a report. So I thought she would just kind of lay out the facts and tell us the story. But whenever I read, I always find, if there's words I don't know, I look them up so that I can have the context of what the word is. Even if I can figure it out, it's I want to know what it actually means, because writers obviously have a way of words and sometimes they can use it in cool ways. And with her, I found that I was looking up a word almost every other page, and there was just so much that I didn't know in my vocabulary. So to me, I like that, and I like being able to see how she was writing so eloquently and just letting it flow in a very sophisticated way. So I love that. So the writing style was great for me. I also felt like it was a pretty easy read, really easy to get through. If you're reading it, each chapter is about one particular woman. So it'll be Maggie, and then it'll be Sloane, and then Lena, and it'll kind of go back and forth. So it's kind of, cut into these three different segments. So I feel like you're more invested in one story probably than the others. So you're trying to get through it to get to the next story and find out what happens. It definitely has some 50 Shades of Grey in it. Not super bad, but there were times where I'd be reading this for the book club and I would be next to my boyfriend and I would be reading what is going on. But it's really not that bad, but it was just funny because it's a little bit risque, and I think obviously that's why we chose it. And it was risque, but it also wasn't as bad as I thought. I kind of was scared because I was leading my book club on it, and I was oh no, I'm gonna have to ask them all these crazy questions. But it was good. It was fun and entertaining. Definitely great for a book club of young women. Well, not even young actually. And I just love that it was unapologetically feminist. I think she said in the prologue she originally was going to talk about men and their deepest desires, but she found that women's stories were way more compelling to her. So I just thought that was super interesting. And if you want to take a deep dive into sexuality and women and their dark deep desires and even toxic relationships and just kind of having that understanding of relatability, it by no means does it romanticize those relationships, but I think just telling the story we've all been there, we've all been in a weird situation, and I think it also helps you relate to the women in ways you never thought you could. Like even with Sloane, who is in like a swingers type of relationship, that's something that I would never probably participate in. Like no, you know, nothing against people who do. I just personally am like a very jealous person and just, I don't think it would work for me, but I found like she was the most relatable character for me. So I think there's something there for everyone. I definitely think it's an important book to read. I would probably give this book either a 4.5 out of 5, if not 5 out of 5. I think on Goodreads I gave it a 5 out of 5. It was just really good, and you know, I think if you kind of know what you're getting into, you'll find that it's fulfilling for you. If you're looking for like a crazy, deep, dark, kinky book, you're not gonna find it. I think when I was looking at Goodreads, I found that some people were upset about that. And you know, it's more about stories and about women and you know, their personality types and them going through these things. So I think you just have to have an open mind. I didn't know that much about it going into the book, so I think I like to have a less you know, the better. Like I don't like spoilers or getting too much of an idea. So I think go into it with an open mind and you'll be pretty happy with it. I wanted to share one of my favorite quotes as well. Let me see. Yeah, I highlighted it here. Basically, women shouldn't judge one another's lives if we haven't been through one another's fires. And I think more than just sexuality, there's a lot of like sisterhood and womanhood in this book and the themes of that and how we can be supporting each other and, you know, not judging one another, because I think that's a very powerful theme as well. So all in all, I really enjoyed this book. I think you will enjoy it if you are a feminist and if you just want to mix it up. You know, I think don't be scared that it's nonfiction, because it definitely reads like a fiction book, which I love, and writing is so good. I think there's a lot to learn, and I think you'll just really enjoy it. So let me know if you've read it and your initial thoughts. I would love to talk about the book more, so please comment below if you've already read it, and let me know any other books you're reading right now. I plan to start doing these reviews once a month. I've been in my book club now for 2 years, so I have a ton of books that I can review. So I'll start slowly going through them, but yeah, let me know. I'd love to connect with some other fellow readers, and I'll see you guys next week.